Good morning, everyone. This is Tavish Van Scoik. I'm an instructional technology coach at Sumter School District, and I want to show you an example of what a Schoology classroom would be like if we were to teach from home, not face-to-face. I'm just going to use a Sandbox account here to show you. I've created a class and an example assignment that will kind of guide you in the direction for teaching or flipped classroom. Let's begin. So the first step is to create a folder or class. Mine's science, sixth grade. So let's just go in there. And I've always requested teachers to use a page for their welcome screen, only because it lets you add pictures and videos and things like that. So that's what I've started with, introducing the project for this week and just given an example of an image. And I've also recorded the message so you can download it here. So the students that would rather see me and hear me reading this to them can do that. So I recommend doing that at least with audio. It just gives another level of interaction. So let's go into the project itself. I'll show you how to set this up. So remember, to set up a assignment, you need to go to Add Materials and click Add Assignment. So I'll go ahead and edit this so you can see how I did it. You got to give it a title. So can't really see the title up here, but it says Animal Research Project. And here are my instructions. So make sure you have instructions in the rich text editor. You can add content here, like the image I added before. You can add a Google Drive link or a YouTube video. So here's an example. Choose an animal using the websites provided. So I used this link, insert link, to give 3 websites that the students can use for their projects. So we have A to Z Animals, World Wildlife, and National Geographic. Okay, now I've also added a, a PDF or a document so that they can have a graphic organizer. Remember to do that. You just add a file. And I've linked it from my Google Drive. So it's right here. It's called Animal Research Graphic Organizer, and it's available for them to use. Okay, now if you've already had this assignment in your Google Drive, like let's say maybe last year you did this project or you did something similar, you can actually link that from your Google Drive, and that will show up here. Okay, now just be aware that it might take your students there as well. So I recommend rebuilding these assignments in Schoology. They'll work a lot better than just linking it with Google Drive. Now you can keep your Google Drive materials there. That will work fine. But if you built the assignment in Google Classroom, you may need to rebuild it with Schoology. Don't forget to copy and paste. Okay, so I've created a category called projects in my sandbox. Now yours will be whatever class you're teaching, whatever period or block. And then the options, I want to make sure you have seen what I did. So I have submissions enabled, making it a submittable assignment. Therefore, they have to physically submit it to get credit for it. And I've made it publishable so that the students can see it. If you unselect this, they can't see it until you press this green circle. And then I've also enabled comments, and I'll show you why. Okay, so as you can see, the resources that I've listed here are all showing in this folder, because when I added the resources, I made sure to create a separate folder, and then I added all of my resources here so that they can just be pulled from my resource folder and also be shareable. Okay, so let's go back, courses, and to the assignment itself. Okay, the next step I want to emphasize is creating a discussion. Okay, discussions are going to be essential if you're teaching from home or not face-to-face, because they will increase your engagement. They will allow your students to collaborate, speak with each other, and also, if you have questions, you can answer them there. So let's add a discussion to our project. Go add materials, add discussion, and I'll just show you by editing mine what I've done. I made a description. You can read it. There's no due date for the discussion because I want it to be there throughout the project, not just as an assignment. So I left that alone. Now you can enable grading, but I've enabled a grading in a different way. I want to show you that next. Okay, it's called student progress or student completion. So after you build all of your materials, you can then go back into the options, and where underneath of individually assigned, where you can send this out to certain students, you can do student completion. And this will actually build a script so that if the student completes this task, they will get credit for it, or they will receive progress toward completing it. So I recommend you use these often to create sort of workflows for your students, so that they know when they're completing something, they know that it's the thing you want them to complete, and then they also get feedback from it. So for the animal research project itself, that's, remember, the main assignment that has submissions enabled. I've made them get credit for posting a comment or a reply, because if you remember in the instructions that I forgot to continue with, I made it a point to ask the students to comment what their animal was. So for instance, down here, you can see that I, the student, have chosen to do a polar bear for my project. So I wrote polar bear and then I posted it. Now that gave me credit. So the teacher will see that I've commented, and it will show that I've commented, and therefore I will get credit for that. Okay, so let's go back, show you the other workflows. Okay, now the main point was to make a submission in the animal research project, and that is done by clicking the assignment here from the drop-down menu. And then it says member must, you can choose to view the item, post a comment, make a submission, or score. So this is a submission type project where they have to add something, and then I'll grade it. So you have to click make submission. And then if you want, you can check this box here, and this will allow them to do it in order. Okay, now let's go to the discussion. So if you'd like to grade a student's discussion, or if you'd like to grade their replies, you can do that here by selecting discussion and posting a comment or replying. So you can also just give them credit for viewing it, but I'd like them to contribute. So either posting a comment in the discussion or replying to another student's comment will give them credit. And finally, for the graphic organizer, I've provided it there as an option. I do not require it, but I would like the student to see or view the item. So when you select the animal research organizer, I made it so they have to view the item to get credit for the completion rule. When you're done making your completion rules, just hit Save Changes, and don't forget that you can delete them or you can rearrange them. And if you have this box checked up here at the top, what will happen is the student must complete these tasks in order from the top to the bottom. Otherwise, you can uncheck this and they can do these in any order. Okay, so I'm actually going to uncheck that and save changes. Now let's take a look at what the student would see. So if you'd like to see what the students are going to look at, then go up to course options underneath your picture and view course as one of your students. This will help you see what your students are seeing. So if you go ahead and navigate through, you'll see that the page that I've put up is the first thing they see. The video lessons there, the folders are there. You can even see that someone made a comment and then there's a notification. You can see the check marks have not been greened out or completed, therefore letting the student know they have to complete that part. Okay, so you can see their progress up here. It will let them know what they have to do left in this project and what their scores are after. Okay, now one last thing. A new feature that has been kind of been talked about recently is this media um, collection. So I want to show you how to add that to your lesson. Okay, so we want to get out of the student view. So we go back to course, back to the folder, into the folder, I should have said, and then add materials. Okay, we're going to go to add media album. This is a new kind of feature. So I've called the media album Animal Research Project just to keep it all kind of succinct. And this is where you can add images to your assignment, kind of like a photo gallery or a gallery walk. And you can add as many pictures as you want. I've made it so students can add pictures. Let's show you what it looks like. So here's what will pop up. You just put a title in, a description, and then down here are the options. So I've made it publishable. Comments are disabled. I don't need comments in this. And instructors and students can add media. So you can select only instructors or both students and instructors. So I've added these 3 pictures. Therefore, they will show up for all students to see. Now, if another student is doing this animal, maybe they can have, share these photos. Use this for collaborating and sharing. All right. Well, this has been an overview of an example of using Schoology for non-face-to-face instruction. And this is Tavish Van Scoik from Sumter School Districts. Thank you.